Welcome everyone to our Rewind pop-up series here on Studio Talent Collective, the podcast. Today, I am bringing you the most downloaded episode of 2025, but also the most downloaded episode of all time since the creation of this podcast. You know, it's had more than, a couple of thousand downloads alone this episode. It's been hugely popular. I'm talking about episode 211, Katseye by Gap, Milkshake Moves and Diversity. This episode just popped off. It was so popular at the time, and I guess it was a trending topic as well. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then listen to the show. You're really going to enjoy it. So without further ado, I bring you Rewind, Katseye by Gap, Milkshake Moves and Diversity, our most downloaded episode of not only 2025, but of all time. Enjoy. I'm Josephine Lancuba. Welcome to Studio Talent Collective, the podcast for dance and performing arts studio owners. Let's leap in. Welcome to the show. We have been going at it for well over 200 episodes, if you can believe it, which totally blows my mind. So I just want to thank everyone for continuing to listen in. And also, if you're new, welcome. If you haven't jumped on and given us a follow yet, or rated us or reviewed us, make sure you do. Now, I would love to talk about the Gap ad. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the ad that Gap Jeans has created using Katseye, the global girl group that was really born from an intensive K-pop style group training boot camp that went on for a very long time, like a ridiculous amount of time, and was televised and put into a documentary. The documentary is called Pop Star Academy. It's a bit of a lame name, but if you check it out, I think it's still on Netflix, Pop Star Academy, it is the making of Katseye, the girl group. And the whole premise of the show is that these international producers, directors who are in that K-pop industry, they want to put together the next supergroup, right? The next supergroup. And they're looking for a diverse cast. So they want women and girls to feel represented from all around the globe. And so it is definitely a diversity, an intentional diversity casting, which I am here for, like I love, but I think the magic of Katseye, and I was totally into it. Like I watched the show well before the whole Gap advertisement came into play, and we're going to talk about that in a sec. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, if you haven't seen the video I'm talking about, it is a choreographed dance routine promoting Gap, right? The denim brand. I think it's the Better in Denim campaign. And essentially it's to the song Milkshake. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours. You got to know it. So they did it to that track. And it's not just Katseye, like there's backup dancers, but it's a whole crew. Like it is creatively really interesting to watch. The choreography is interesting. The creative decisions in relation to how the video starts with the hip movements and, just the intricate hand and arm movements. And it's really cool. Just from a dancer perspective, check it out and watch the video. I'll even pop a link in the show notes for you so you can check it out. But the thing about this is they created this show, Pop Star Academy. This group was born from the show. And the whole idea is that they go on to have global success and have this diverse cast representing, the girls of the world. Now, obviously, that's an impossible task, and we know that, right? We can't tick every box. But the way it has been done, in my opinion, is not tokenistic. I think they did it really well. Really, really well. Now, if you haven't seen Popstar Academy, make sure you do. The training is brutal. So it's a selection process. And it goes on for several months. I think they even like stay in this boot camp for like over a year or something. Like it's ages until they actually make this selection. So you could be in this boot camp scenario doing all this training, this audition process, this intensity, and not be selected. But that's kind of part of the process. And I suppose whether you get selected or not, the whole idea is, you know, that you learn so much from just being a part of it. But still, it's really crushing. Like some of these girls have worked so hard for endless amounts of time and don't actually end up getting the gig. They are housed, you know, they're fed, they still get stardom in some respects, I suppose. And it actually reminds me of that Bardo process. Remember Bardo, that Australian girl group from like 100 years ago, more likely probably 30 years ago or something like that. And they went through this very similar process. And I think the show was called Top of the Pops. And essentially this girl group is formed on this show. They go through a brutal process. They all have to live together, and they develop this band. And, you know, I hope for the sake of Katseye that they're being more looked after than Bardo was. I think, you know, Bardo makes hardly anything from the royalties of their music. They were paid a pittance, apparently. Like, rumor has it that they were paid like, I don't know, something like $40 a week just for some food or something. I mean, yes, they got accommodation and all things, but there was no actual salary, which was pretty terrible. But, you know, those were the days, right? The 90s where you could, and those early 2000s where you could, you know, treat artists like crap and get away with it and they'd sign contracts, basically signing their life away to the record labels. So, you know, we're not seeing that like we used to, which is amazing. But, yeah, I hope Katseye is well looked after. And I think they would be. I think in this day and age, one would think so, you know. And so they deserve to be. That's the other bit. Now, like I said, it's not tokenistic, but it's not tokenistic. It's not. It's done beautifully. It's a beautiful blend of girls. So talented. So talented, right? And this video that they did, this dance clip, has gone viral. Now, there's a lot we can say about that. First of all, obviously it was genius from, you know, the marketing department of which created this particular advertisement. But what I really like, and this is what I want to lean into, because as studio owners, you will know that you have people within your walls that have incredible skills. You know, like these dancers, for example, they have incredible skills, incredible dancers, great singers, but they've gone on to do advertising. Now you can see that there is so much opportunity with the use of this skill. And that's what I want to kind of lean into today as well. See, so many studio owners think that when they're developing dancers, that it can be quite one-dimensional. You know, they're dancers, they become dancers. But what we're seeing especially in the Australian, New Zealand markets, is that we are in a smaller industry. You know, I just had a conversation today with an artist from the UK, and, you know, we have to manage expectations because it's a smaller market here. It truly is. It's just the way it is. And so for those US and you know, UK friends that are listening, because I know we've got quite a few listeners from overseas, it is a different marketplace here in Australia. Not to say there isn't work, there is, but it is smaller. Like theatre, for example, like if you're a dancer and you're going for a gig, how many theatre shows, you can count on two hands how many theatre shows are launched in 1 year. Like, and I mean like major theatre productions. You can count on one or two hands. It's pretty limited, right? And everyone's vying for the same positions. Same with television and film. Like as a talent agent, you know, I've got my agency Studio Talent Collective, which has studio owners in the fold. But we see television and film opportunities coming through each week. Absolutely. Like I just booked one of my girls from Terpsichore Dance Co., which is one of my clients who's within STC, my agency. And she just booked a vertical film in China. She's an 8-year-old girl, flew to China, did the gig, just flew back. Amazing experience. But, it can be quite limiting of what's available here in Australia. Now, advertising, on the other hand, is a thriving industry because everywhere you look, there's advertising. Like, think about it. It is literally everywhere. It's, on the podcast breaks that you listen to. It's on the car radio as you drive. It's on the billboards as you drive past. It's all through social media. It's on your television screen. It's at the cinema. It's, it's on the serviette holder at the pub. Like, we are constantly being marketed to. And so advertising is a huge industry, and it is lucrative and it is frequent. So even in Australia, we have a lot of commercial opportunity for artists. And so the fact that Katseye has been selected from their skills as dancers and singers to then go on into advertising space is phenomenal. And I think that there's an opportunity here for all of your students, really, or your artists that you represent, all of them, regardless if you see them as a dancer, to still also be represented in the commercial space. Because it is a huge industry and it can't be missed. And this is the opportunity that having an in-house talent agency can actually bring. Because it is more than just developing skilled performing artists. It's also about the commercial viability and them being able to make a career from the arts. Because if you, especially like I said, in smaller markets like Australia, like New Zealand, whatever, if you limit them to one art form, then they're cooked. Most of them will not be able to survive. They will go and teach and do other things, but most of them will not be able to survive on that. Now, obviously, there will be the lucky few that actually have the tenacity, that grow their careers, that really do generate, a good, sustainable income from the performing arts, but many won't. And so I think opening up to that world of advertising is fantastic. Obviously Katseye's management team has got it down in spades. Now I know they're celebrity types, but it doesn't matter. The similarities are there, and there's the opportunity for everyone, right? So just being open-minded. I think not enough studios, especially dance studios, acting studios, obviously going to be a bit different, but vocal and dance studios do not open this conversation up with their students. And I think it should be. I think it should be something that is more discussed, that there are other ways to generate income in the industry. I mean, obviously, you've also got the influencer market. So what we're seeing now with the Katseye video, for example, is we're seeing, TikTok's blowing up. Everyone's like, putting their milkshakes in the yard, copying the moves. That's probably half the reason that there's so many views on the bloody video, because everyone's like learning it and probably putting it on repeat over and over and over, trying to learn the moves. I personally haven't done that, but I will say that when I was younger, and I mean much younger, like a kid, I have 2 older sisters. So my eldest sister is 9 years older than me. And then we've got the middle sister who's halfway in between. And then there's me. So I would have been in primary school, I probably would have been 8 or something like that. And I just remember we had, at the time, there was no social media. There was no anything. Like, we used to watch music videos on a Saturday and tape them on your VHS for playback later. So you could watch your music videos later via VHS. And so we used to copy the moves off music videos back then, right? It didn't matter. The kids don't change. Teenagers don't change. I remember we used to do, New Kids on the Block. Do you remember if anyone's like my age, I'm 42, you'll know who New Kids on the Block were. And we used to, I'm just trying to think, was Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, you know? Mark Wahlberg's brother was in New Kids on the Block. Donnie. I think his name was Donnie. Keep following me here. I promise you. Now, we used to do that song, oh, 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 the right stuff. And me and my sisters would go around the coffee table and like follow the steps that they did in the circle and stuff. And we used to like do all the moves. I used to do the Madonna Barcelona concert, knew it back to front. All of it, right? We used to do all the things. And I'm laughing about it now because essentially that's what, like, that VHS playback, rewind, watch video again, learn choreography and do it in your lounge room thing that we used to do as kids, me and my sisters, is essentially what TikTok is. Like, if you think about it, like these people are hitting rewind on the YouTube video. Well, they're skipping back the YouTube video, and they're learning the choreography over and over, and they're doing it in their lounge rooms, but they've got a camera on them. That's the only difference. We didn't film ourselves doing it, but we still did it. Like, fundamentally, humans have not changed. Fundamentally, we are the same. And so, you know, I think it's really interesting because that virality came from that choreography. I mean, had New Kids on the Block, if we had social media back then, everyone would have been doing the right stuff, you know? And so, and that's what I mean. It's a really interesting concept, and how everyone's kind of taken to it. I just think it's exciting. I love the group. I love the concept of that global brand of representing different faces, diversity. I think that is a very big focus within my agency. It is something that I teach my studio owners that join us. I talk about embracing diversity. In fact, embracing diversity is one of the key elements of my course, Talent Manager Bootcamp. We have a whole lesson on it. It's literally called, you know, embracing diversity. And the reason I talk about diversity, and diversity can mean anything. It can mean ethnicity, it can mean size, it can mean ability, disability, etc., right? Diversity. Different people on your books. Same within the classroom, like embracing diversity in your studio, having those diverse options when it comes to programming, you know, having a disability program. For example, we talked to Simone Isles from Disinfluencer last week, introducing cultural dance or having a cultural dance workshop in the school holidays with someone, you know, that can share their culture with your students. Like, however you go about it, but just bringing in that global sensibility, I think that is clever. That is clever in this day and age. And I actually think it's a necessity. And I think it's one of the key ingredients to why Katseye is rocking it right now. They're rocking it, yeah? So kudos to the team that created that Gap commercial, Better in Denim. It makes me want to shop at the Gap. I have shopped at the Gap when I was in the USA. Actually, I'm just looking in my wardrobe. I think I've still got a denim shirt from the Gap. I think I do. That is so exciting. I'm going to so wear my denim shirt again. Does that mean denim is like in for the win right now? This is good because I have stuff that's denim that has been benched in the wardrobe for so long. I'm getting out the denim shirt. Yes. Okay. So there you go. It worked on me. I am now like into it. And I'm not easily sold, guys. Like, I'm not one of those people that goes to like things and just like buys everything like that. I can be quite discerning with my purchases. I like to make good decisions. But now I do want to shop at the Gap because that sounds like fun. And then I can, you know, sing the song in my denim. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. And it's going to be a vibe. And that will bring me back to dancing around the coffee table in the lounge room with my sisters to New Kids on the Block. There you go. See? The nostalgia, friends, the nostalgia. All right, so what can you do differently in your business? Well, what you can do is you can start embracing diversity. You can think on a more global scale. You can be interesting with your content and create. I mean, it doesn't have to have 6.5 million views, but look at the style of content. Like, you guys create interesting works of performing arts in your studio. What are you doing to celebrate that? Share that. Think about the social media that you could create through your work. Just like, be inspired by Katseye and the Gap advertisement. What can you be doing differently? That's what I'd be interested in knowing. All right, guys, food for thought. Thank you for listening. Today was a random one, but you know what? Sometimes it's nice to pull apart something that people are really talking about and are interested in. It's kind of like, Taylor Swift bringing out the new album and everyone's now got orange glitter backgrounds and stuff, but see how quickly things move on. Like last week, it was all about the orange glitter because of Taylor Swift's new album announcement. And this week it's about this. So we are in a very fast-paced society, guys. That is the truth. It's a fast-paced society. Things move on. But all you can do is be creative, share your uniqueness like this. This was quite a unique approach to advertising. You can have a unique approach to your advertising for your studio as well. So there's something to be learned there with this Gap video and Katseye's interesting point of view and the choreography and the look and all the things that made it really cool. And bring those concepts into your business at a smaller scale, sure. But we can still be inspired and utilize those concepts. It's definitely made me rethink about some of my stuff. So, if you're a studio owner and you're interested in having an in-house talent agency, don't forget, Studio Talent Collective has 3 pathways to talent management. Whether it be you want to create your own talent agency with your own branded name, that's pathway 1. We can help you with that. Pathway 2, you can plug in a talent agency into your business with us. Literally, we've got everything done for you, resources. And then pathway 3, which is a done-for-you service, but that's only available in limited cities in Australia. But if you're interested in one of the 3 pathways, we can have a chat. You can head to my website. You can DM me on Instagram. I've got links in the show notes, or you can email me, podcast@josephinelancuba.com. Everything's in the show notes. I'll also put the link to the Gap music video for the advertisement, Better in Denim. I am not associated to these guys in any way. I'm not getting anything for doing this. This is me just talking about it because I'm like literally finding it interesting. I just find it interesting and cool, and I love Katseye, so I'm down. I'm down for the ride. Thanks for listening, friends. Thanks for listening, everyone. Now, if you're a studio owner who wants to create an in-house talent agency or represent their students on screen or on stage, I can help. Studio Talent Collective can help. Actually, that's what we do. Head to studiotalentcollective.com/agency for more information, or you can send us an email, podcast@studiotalentcollective.com, to find out more. I'll pop those links in the show notes for you. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye. This show is brought to you by Studio Talent Collective, a plug-and-play talent agency helping studio owners become confident talent managers and build their own in-house talent agencies. Find out more at studiotalentcollective.com or connect with me on socials @Studio Talent Collective. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate it or leave a review. Thanks for listening.